Episode number 2 of All the Queen's Men, the title itself, Daddy's Girl, was a bit of a double entendre because right at the very end of the episode, the plot-enhancing moment may have left Madam and her father in a very peculiar spot. Stick around to the end to find out why. Now, there was a whole lot of action taking place outside of the club on this last episode when Amp, Trouble, and Midnight tried to get rid of the patron's body. And even though the action took place off camera, this was a pivotal point for Trouble, and she has definitely earned some brownie points with Blue and Madam. Why they decided to take Trouble on the ride to dump the body off somewhere is beyond me. I guess since her and Rayshawn walked in on them in the process, it kind of left them with no other choice but to drag them along. Apparently, Detective Davis got behind them, pulled up, and this is when Trouble took matters into her own hands and decided to run into the cop's car. Then one car crashed into a window, which caused the car to blow up and burn, and somehow they all got out and survived, leaving the body burning, I guess. I don't know. I won't comment too much on this because, again, it happened off camera, but from the clips that were provided, it gave us some insight as to what may have happened. Trouble later called Blue and she told her how excited she was and that she was about to come over to her house. But Blue stopped her and said, it's okay, you don't have to come over. And Trouble is elated to have done them a solid, right? She's finally in. She's finally a part of that Eden gang officially. We all know that Trouble is very pushy. She's very arrogant. And in this instance, she took charge and it paid off. And I'm wondering if Madam is going to be upset with her or if she's going to thank Trouble. But I don't think that this is the end of what we'll hear of this by far because Detective Davis is on their ass. Like, she ain't letting up at all. Fuego ended up in the hospital after fighting for his life inside the jail cell with his co-worker Doc. And I really feel a way about this subplot because their loyalty to Madam, it sometimes causes them to turn on each other, which dampens the spirit of their brotherhood, right? And it sets the group at a great divide and it kind of cheapens their bonding moments. What I would have liked to have seen here was them trying to convince Fuego to keep his mouth shut, and they could have just simply told him that he got set up, but because of their loyalty to Madam, they couldn't do any of that. And there was no compassion at all. They were just trying to kill him, and their efforts are becoming a bit sloppy and unorganized. So I don't think she needs to send Doc on any more assignments. He's not that guy. He's not a killer. And his unsuccessful attempts in completing the job is bringing more attention to the situation than what's needed. Fuego later went to Amp's place to try to get some advice, and Amp sent him over to talk to Madam. Then Madam let him know that she sent Doc and Babyface to get rid of his ex-girlfriend because he needed to get his hands dirty too. Well, it appears that his hands are dirty, but he's as innocent as they come. So what is Fuego gonna do? He's already snitched on himself, so you think he's not gonna snitch on them as well? I don't know. We gotta watch Fuego. He might just go postal in a little while. Madam went to visit her father, and it was a nice father-daughter moment. Madam even smiled quite a bit during her visit. He advised her that she'd bitten off way too much than what she could chew with killing Lotus, Concierge's wife. But since she was already in knee-deep, he had to give her some fatherly advice. He knows that it's an eye for an eye when dealing with Raphael Damascus, aka the Concierge. So he knows that because she helped Lotus to leave Earth, that Concierge or her father was gonna get rid of someone that she loved as retaliation. Now, as a part of her strategy, he told her that she's lowballing by dealing with the DA. And instead, she needs to keep pressure on Concierge's neck because he's at the top. Government officials, lawyers, judges, head of countries. He told her that the governor has a daughter who just turned 21 and that she likes her coffee black with no sugar, no cream, if you know what I mean. And she likes to entertain herself with a little nose candy or maybe even something stronger, which is right up Madam's alley. So he's telling her that she'll be more successful by going in by way of Concierge as opposed to going back and forth with the DA. So he's keeping her abreast of what's happening politically while keeping her ear to the streets as well. He told her to come by every Thursday for updates so that she'll know what her next move is going to be. And it's no secret that Madam is his favorite daughter over Carla. And I touched on this in my last video. And after Madam told him that Carla wanted to burn down Club Eden, he told Madam that she can't hurt family because it's against the rules. So whatever her and Carla are facing, they have to sort it out amicably, right? And I'm sure that they both know that Carla only wants custody of her dad for the protection, right, from the streets, and for that check that she gets every 30 days to take care of him. And before Madam left, he told her about the freaky nurse that gives him a little extra attention below the waist while she's giving him his sponge baths. And Madam doesn't like that at all. I mean, isn't this elderly abuse in some sort of way? SA something? I mean, you can't do that, right? On so many levels, it's just wrong. But he doesn't seem to mind at all. And this is where things can really go left and get sticky, right? As it brings another person in on what's really going on with him, which opens the door to their whole scheme being compromised, and it may leave them susceptible to blackmail at some point. So he needs to really be careful with that. Now, let's move back to Madam's legal issues. She told her lawyer that she needed Doc and Babyface on that stage that night. And because the detectives are not handling this case by the book, the judge ordered them out of jail because they really didn't have any reason legally to detain them. Now that's about it for episode number 2, you guys. And I'm going to tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, and how episode number 2 helps to move the story along. Now, what I liked about this episode was the dance performance. Now, even though the performances are of a sexual nature, they can all really dance, like for real. It's all choreographed nicely and they were all in unison. The set of the stage is very well put together. I'm also a stage manager, guys, and I must say that I'm very impressed with the stage at Club Eden. And, you know, I don't have to be on the set, but I just need to be there while they're rehearsing, you know, maybe 1 or 2 rehearsals just to make sure that everything's going according to plan. And what I didn't like about this episode is what I said before, the divide between the brotherhood because of their loyalty to Madam was a bit unsettling, because I like to see the story maintain some sort of unity somewhere that's pure and wholesome. You know, like there should be nothing to break the brotherhood bond. They should all have each other's back no matter what. But now there's distrust in that dressing room, which is, I'm sure, going to lead to more distrust and more secrets. But amidst all of that, this episode definitely moves the story along quite well. We've got the freaky nurse throwing salt in the game by violating one of her patients. We've got Trouble, who has elevated up a notch in the storyline, and things have gone sour between Doc and Fuego. And Blue is on the hunt for Casanova to knock his block off. So yeah, the storyline is still lit. Now, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. You know I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Christian Key's All the Queen's Men, go ahead and sub to the channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys, on Ruthless TV, and I'll see you on the next one.